We are live. Hello. Welcome to GTFO. That was Hannah's phone suddenly starting to play happy birthday. Whose birthday was it, Hannah?
I don't know. I don't know. I turned it off quickly.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, welcome to the first GTFO we've done for a while, actually, because we missed a couple because of scheduling issues and other things with our guests. But we are back, and today we are talking about Instagram. So we have got top 5 tips to help you boss Instagram for your business. So, first of all, we will do introductions, Hannah. So, what's your name? Where'd you come from? And tell us something interesting that has happened to you this week.
Well, my name is Hannah. I'm a director at Grow Traffic. And the most interesting thing is that I just looked on my Facebook memories and it said that we did this, this is the 2-year anniversary of us doing Facebook likes, because this time 2 years ago, we were on our first week of lockdown.
Yep.
What did you do in the first week of lockdown?
Oh, panicked, drank a lot of alcohol, cried. Yeah. Well, because so we'd been to Disneyland, hadn't we? And we came back from Disneyland, and we decided we could sort of see what was coming in the wind. So we said, we can all work from home. Let's all just work from home. So we'd started working from home and going into lockdown about a week before it was officially announced as a government strategy. So yeah, we spent that week panicking, and I had many a conversation with lots of other business owners about what they were going to do and what we were going to do and how everybody was going to cope, and it was quite scary, wasn't it? It was quite a scary time.
It was absolutely terrifying. And I remember genuinely at 5 o'clock every day, I'd sit and watch the briefings and I'd sob. And I remember them saying like the kids were coming home from school and like we didn't know that was going to be their last day at school and schools might be shut till September. And we were like, as if.
I know. I mean, but you're right. I mean, remember that you said to me like they might shut the schools, and I remember saying like they're not going to shut the school. Like, come on, we're not in like a wartime situation. They're not going to shut the. And then it was announced like the next day that they shut the schools. And I remember watching the news with my mouth open, like, what the hell are we living through? This is cracking.
What is going on? I know. And then to add insult to injury, I was quite pregnant by this point. I had quite a bump, and Naya made me learn a dance. She choreographed a dance to some song from Descendants and made us practice it like half an hour, like 3 times a day in the living room. I was like trying to jump and stop the baby from falling out.
Oh, if only it was that easy to have a baby. Yeah, well, there we go. That's 2 years since lockdown, cripes. And today the sun is shining and it's beautiful and everything feels a bit more positive and spring is on the way. So we're just heading into World War III instead, but we'll not
Never
think about that on
mind.
the horizon. It'll be fine. Anyway, Instagram. Here we are. So I've got a few facts and figures for you about Instagram to start us off. So Instagram is predicted to have 1.2 billion users worldwide by the end of next year. So it's actually massive. And I know, in the world of social media, the big behemoth that's kind of come in and disrupted everything is TikTok, and TikTok was the fastest growing social network platform last year. But Instagram is still way ahead of TikTok if we look at it in terms of number of daily users and active daily users, which is one of the main metrics that they use. So Instagram is the 4th most popular social media platform in the world by daily active users. It's behind Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp in that order. So Instagram, if we think, YouTube and WhatsApp aren't necessarily social platforms to me, Instagram is behind Facebook. And interestingly, both Instagram and Facebook are owned by Meta, Facebook, as it used to be called. So
and WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Yeah. So they really have, that they've got the monopoly over those social media platforms, haven't they? And Instagram is the 7th most visited website in the world. So of all the not just social media, of all the websites, Instagram is the 7th most visited. And Instagram.
Sorry.
BBC is one of the top ones. Facebook is one of the top ones. YouTube is one of the top ones. Google search engine is one of the top ones. But yeah, so Instagram is up there with that big pack. And it's going to be 12 this year. It's been going 12 years. No,
Oh
I
my
know.
God. I always think of Instagram as like what Facebook was kind of 15 years ago. Like it was for the kind of 20 plus ish kind of age range, like maybe like mid to late mid 20s to kind of mid 30s age range. And it is just now like the kind of social channel that everyone uses, just like how Facebook was. And I think certainly a lot of my Facebook friends have moved away from Facebook and gone onto Instagram because they've fallen out with Facebook. But you know, lols, it's the same
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, exactly. I know. In fact, I follow a few people on Facebook purely for the lols, and I was reading one of them, and they were getting really mad. So Facebook has introduced a new level of privacy to protect people's accounts, and everybody on this side was getting really cross about, how dare Facebook try and impinge on our privacy by ensuring that we set up two-factor authentication. We're going to go over to Instagram instead. And you're like, oh my God, like seriously, just think about what you're saying. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and this is kind of the benefit and the negative for these social platforms, isn't it? That they start off niche and they have a really very very defined, very specific role. Like Facebook. Facebook was about text, wasn't it? Putting up text posts, and then it spreads and it gets the challengers that come in, and it has to evolve, and eventually it becomes all things to all people, or tries to. And Instagram was very much for images. It was for images. That was it. You put your photos on Instagram, and then TikTok's come into challenge, YouTube's come into challenge. So now it's all about the videos and it's about the stories. And again, Instagram is going to try and become all things to all people, and then people will fall out of love and go to the next one. So that's kind of the phases that happens with social platforms, isn't it? Are you shushing out there?
Yup,
Cat?
yup.
Yup,
No,
yup.
yup, he's going.
Yeah.
I can feel him. He's getting ready to do a woof.
He's going to start woofing. Right. So anyway, we have got 5 top tips for you today. So if you are, you use Instagram on a daily basis, you feel like you're quite proficient at it, sometimes it's worth just reviewing what you're doing and making sure it still makes sense. If you've never used Instagram and you're wondering, is it worth it? Should I go on there? These tips will apply equally to people at all ends of those spectrums. So tip number 1 for using Instagram: set it up properly and optimize your bio. What does that mean, Hannah?
Well, I mean, you can only really put your link in your bio. So you need to make sure that your bio is the kind of about you little bit. So bios with emojis in work well. You've only got a certain amount of space. So you need to be really succinct about what you're saying, stick your link in it. But also make sure that your branding is consistent across your social media channels, that your logo is displaying correctly, that you've got your name spelt correctly, that your spacing is the same spacing as on your website and your Facebook and your LinkedIn and everything. And just be consistent with it.
I mean, it sounds obvious, doesn't it? But people forget. And if you say, for example, you go into a networking meeting, you meet somebody, you go home, you Google them because you've got their business card. You want to really easily be able to identify, yeah, that's definitely the person that I met. So either have your logo as your photo or have a really good photo of your face, close up, recent, not one from 20 years ago at your cousin's wedding, where you're 20 stone heavier or whatever. People need to be able to instantly know it's you, find you and click on it and follow you. So make it obvious. And the other thing is, if they're asking you for information, so if they're giving you a box, fill that box in, because there is a reason that they are asking for that. So don't just half-assed fill in some of the boxes, fill in all of it. And like you say, hashtags in your bio, link to your website in your bio, make it really functional but really obvious to people. It just helps everything.
It really does. And then don't forget to link to your Instagram from your website as well. So I know if I'm ever looking for a company's social media channels, I'll just go straight to their website and either hit the header or the footer to look for the social channels. And if they haven't got a social channel linked in their footer, I will assume that they haven't got that channel, rather than thinking, oh, okay, I'm so desperate, I'll go onto Instagram and look for them. I just think, well, you haven't got it. So make sure that you're linking into it from elsewhere as well.
Yeah, Linktree can be a really good thing. We've got a
Yeah.
link to tree for Grow Traffic, and we link to that from our email footer, for example. So again, it's just making it obvious. People are busy. Everybody's busy. There's no reason that somebody is going to actively seek out your business. So put the link somewhere obvious for them, and just make sure they can access that really easily.
And also, even if they like super really want your services, like, I mean, then you're just going to go for the easiest one to find. So don't assume that, people will put in the work to find you, because they won't. Just work to the laziest person in the room.
Yeah, lowest common denominator.
Lowest common denominator.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So number one, set up properly and optimize your bio. Sounds obvious, but people forget to do it. So number two, stick to your brand and be consistent. Now, I was looking at somebody's Instagram the other day, and they are a stationery company, high-end stationery company, and they had an Instagram account, quite an active Instagram account actually. Weren't getting any engagement, no likes, no followers, and I had a look at what they've been posting, and essentially what they were doing was sharing content from other people that was vaguely about stationery. So it just looked all over the place. And the thing is, they have a really strong brand. They are producing the most beautiful, like hand embossed wedding invitations, stuff for the Houses of Parliament, stuff for the civil service and things like that, stuff for the Queen even. But they weren't just, as I was like, just photograph a tiny bit of it. That should be your Instagram. Showcase your product. Have a brand theme. Instead, it just looked busy and it was all over the place, and it was all sorts of different. Some of them were cartoons, and some of them were photos, and some of them were memes. You need to have a little bit of a brand identity on Instagram, don't you?
Absolutely. And I think, like, think about how it looks as a whole, how your gallery looks as a whole, rather than just thinking about, oh, this image is good and this image is good. Like, curate that space. Don't just stick a load of shite up, and make sure that it's on brand. Like, if your brand colours are red, white, and blue, don't be sticking orange in there as well. Like, make it on brand. There's a woman that I went to college with, and she's a makeup artist, and she's got her own skincare product, and her Instagram is absolutely beautiful. It's all skin related, skin colors, so it's various shades of kind of dark brown through to peach kind of colors, but it's just like, and I think she finds the images off stock really, but like, it is just a really like lovely board. Not board.
And this is it, isn't it? Branding and imagery are so important on Instagram, because more than any other platform, Instagram is about image, and
Oh, she's frozen.
it is about how does it look, and particularly, and you're right. Have I? No, am I back? Are you there? Oh, you
Back,
froze.
yeah. No, you're back.
We're back. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's all about image, and it's all about branding. And you're right. You want to be able to look at somebody's Instagram account and immediately get a feel for who they are as a company and what they stand for as a brand and all the rest of it. And it needs to be consistent. I particularly as well, I don't like when you look at a company's brand Instagram page, and we do this at Grow Traffic. We're really guilty of this, and it tends to be a lot of memes and a lot of graphics rather than photos. I think that looks, I don't know, it just looks a bit cheap and tacky, doesn't it? It doesn't look authentic.
It does, but then I don't mind it if they kind of like run on a theme. So, like, if your graphics have got like a strong theme for the page that I can see, I quite like that. The best one I ever saw was a bar, I think, in London, and as you scrolled, more of an image got revealed. So like the top bit was like a sea, like the mast of a sail, and then it would go down, and then eventually you were like in the depths of the ocean, and there was like a massive octopus, and like, it was so cool just how they created it. So curated it, sorry, so that you like scroll, and it went on forever and ever and ever. I'll see if I can find it and stick it in the comments.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I mean, that's the thing, is that things like that take an awful lot of time, don't they? But that would pay off, because people love stuff like that. I think as well, when we're talking about be your brand and be consistent, it is about identifying what is unique about your company, because a lot of people are doing Instagram and a lot of people are doing it well. And particularly if you think about spaces like yoga, wellness, health and fitness, you know, it is absolutely awash with that on Instagram. So if you are one of those sorts of business, wellness, lifestyle, fitness type businesses, how are
Beauty.
you going to, beauty, how are you going to identify what's unique to you? How are you going to stand out? If you're just posting, you know, photos of lipsticks, well, there's a million people already posting photos of lipstick. So why is anyone going to look at yours above somebody else's?
Do you remember when it was like a few months ago, it was dead popular to put like photos of lipsticks, but it's smudged slightly? Or like, you know, like hair models, but they've got lipstick on their teeth, or like, you know, they got a bogey, like something's not quite perfect. My God, engagement was absolutely exploding on shit like that. Like we were all sending it to each other saying like, this is proper triggering, like, but it explodes. So stand out, like don't just do what everyone else is doing. Put on a photo, like, you know, promote your lipstick, but how are you going to make it look visually appealing?
Yeah, and how is that picture going to express something about yourself? I think the other thing that where Instagram is really good is in telling the story of a business. So, you know, if you're not able to do that beautifully curated, you know, brand picture perfect type Instagram account, how are you going to use it to tell the story of your business, and what are you doing on a day-to-day basis, and where are you, and who are you visiting, and you know, what locations are you in, or what events are you at, that sort of thing. So use it to put some personality in there as well all the time about who you are and what you stand for. Okay, so top tips for bossing Instagram. Number 1, set it up properly and optimize your bio. Number 2, identify your brand and then be consistent in sticking to that brand. What's your USP and why should people follow you? Number 3, use multimedia and stories. So this is what we were saying before. You know, Instagram used to just be about the image, but it's not now, is it? It's wider than that.
Yeah, so typically reels and stories get much more engagement, and I mean, I don't really understand why, because I tend not to use stories.
I mean, I'm the same as well. I tend not to use it and I tend not to look at them, but they short circuit the whole algorithm because they're at the top. They're at the top of your feed and they just scroll through. They circumvent all of that. So you're not having to rely on the algorithm to show your content to a specific set of people. If they follow you, they're going to go up there. They're going to see it. But the downside of that is that it's time sensitive. So you've kind of got to do more of them because it depends when they log on. You know, if you have posted something within the last hour, they'll see it on the stories or on the reels. If you haven't, if you posted something yesterday, they're not going to see it because more people have posted content that will show up first. So it's about circumnavigating the algorithm, but it's all about timing and frequency.
And you can't just do it as well. Like you don't want it to be, you know, your whole profile to be super empty because all you ever do is post stories. But
it
I
was
think
done as a backlash against Snapchat, wasn't it? So a lot of the young people what they liked about Snapchat was the transient nature of it. So you could post something and it wasn't on your profile forever and a day. Whereas with Facebook, people tend to use it for the exact opposite. They post to Facebook so that it is there forever and a day. It's like the catalogue or the diary of their lives, isn't it? And so Instagram introduced stories to sort of find a halfway house for that, so that you could have an element of that transient to get the young people in, but you could also still have a static profile that people could look back on time and again. But yeah, that's why. Whether or not it works, I don't know.
I think it does. Like statistics show that engagement is higher and reach is higher. So it does work, but I think I would always advise that you use it as part of your overall social strategy. So, say for example, you've got you're doing a campaign to promote a particular lipstick. You might do a story showing one sort of graphic with one lipstick shade being used. And then you might have a reel of somebody applying it or, kissing with it on or whatever, or just looking fabulous. And then you've got an actual proper, an actual static image that goes on that shows the range or, a kind of call to action as well. So Like I think use it as part of the arsenal, but don't use any one thing exclusively.
And I think that's a very good point, isn't it? Essentially, your profile, the images that go onto your profile or your page, that they are your evergreen content. They're your static messages. They're not going to change once they're up there. They're up there. So yeah, stories and stuff. It's about that slightly more transient. So or your videos, slightly shorter type stuff. So rather than, this is the product, how is the product going to be used? If you're talking about a service business, for example, you might have one on your page that is something about this service is something that we do. It's a core service. And then again, your reels or your stories or whatever might be something more of a client testimonial or somebody talking about how it helped or a little bit of a case study or whatever. So it's the sort of evergreen long-term content goes on your profile, and the slightly more transient short-term stuff goes on your reels.
And I guess as well, your like off-brand stuff, or the stuff that's not going to look nice on your curated board, you'd put on your story as well.
Yeah, absolutely that. Yeah, if you wanted to just share a silly meme or something, but you didn't want it there in perpetuity, yeah, that's a perfect way of doing it. Would you have a content calendar for Instagram?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think it's difficult though, isn't it? Because you want it to be organic and engaging. So I would probably have a content calendar for my grid and not for my stories.
Yeah, I think, benefits of content calendars are multiple, aren't they? But one of the things is just so that you're not sat there every day going, oh my God, I've got to think of something to post to Instagram. Yeah. Like you say, you've got that sort of backup of steady content that's going to go up there and you know what's happening. But then if you just see something and you think that's really good, my audience will enjoy that, absolutely put it onto your stories or your reels. You can be a bit spontaneous, but yeah, having a content calendar also can help you remember those calendar days, can't it? So if it's hashtag ice cream Sunday, you can make sure you're hitting those and engaging with your audience on a slightly more fun level, can't you?
Plus you can pull together your campaign. So if you're really focusing on one service or product, you could have your blog, so your blog content calendar, your email newsletter content calendar, your podcasting calendar, and your social calendar all pulling together. And if you're sitting there going, that's too many calendars, then put it on one.
Put it all on one. Yeah, absolutely. And Grow Traffic have a wonderful content calendar that you can use. Okay, so using how to use Instagram, top 5 tips. Number 1, set it up properly and optimize your bio. It's not as obvious as it sounds. Number 2, figure out your brand and your USP and then stick to it and be consistent and think about your curated content and how it looks. Number 3, use multimedia. So that means use photos, static photos, use videos, use infographics, use stories, use reels, all of these different tools that Instagram has. Make use of them because different people will engage with it in different ways. So you're going to widen the audience that you reach. Number 4, use hashtags. Now, I think this is probably most important on Instagram than any other social platform, isn't it? So why do hashtags matter?
Hashtags categorize and group your content, and they allow it to be searchable and findable. So it's really important that you use hashtags. There are some hashtags that you should never use and they've been banned. And if you use it, then your post won't show up. And you can find lists all over the internet. Just search for banned hashtags. Ones are added periodically, really. And the reason that they're banned is because reports that like the most content that's reported the most for spam or not being useful or being controversial or offensive sit under these specific hashtags. So like, for example, Valentine's Day is a banned hashtag. So it's really important that you know that. But also you can use up to, is it 30 still?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot, and use them. And like I see people using hashtags like if they were doing like a hashtag and it was like never give up, it'll be like hashtag never give up, hashtag never, hashtag give, hashtag up, like hashtag never, hashtag give, hashtag up. They're 3 like ridiculous hashtags that you would hashtag for. Like, what the fuck is going to take for hashtag never? And all they might do, but they're not going to be looking for content that's like motivational and stuff. I mean, really, who is going to search for hashtag never give up? Like, you might do, but it's really, really important that you actually search for a hashtag and do your research around hashtags that you're going to use. So
there is a website called Hashtagify.me, hashtagify.me. And if you look on there, you can put your hashtag in and it will tell you, first of all, it'll tell you if it's banned. It will also give you better alternatives. So it will say, yeah, that's all right, but actually more people are searching for this related hashtag. So you can start to, you can start to refine that. I think the other thing to remember with hashtags as well is if you are cross-posting, so if you are posting to Instagram, but then sharing it to Facebook or whatever, you get that big dot. You might see if you've been on Facebook and you see posts that people have shared from Insta and it's dot, big long line of dots, and then a million hashtags. It doesn't work on Facebook. It certainly doesn't work on Twitter. It might look all right on Insta, but it's not great. So just be aware if you are going to use a lot of hashtags on Instagram, make sure you repurpose that content and make it appropriate if you're going to cross-pollinate to other social media platforms.
For definite. And also, another good one that I use is keywords everywhere. You can have that as a Chrome extension, and when you go on to Insta, it's on your laptop, not on your mobile, but it automatically suggests hashtag based on your content and stuff. So that's really useful. But just do a quick search of your hashtag that you're thinking of using, because you kind of don't want your content linked in with something that's irrelevant or controversial. So, for example, one of our lovely clients, she was using a hashtag. And when I searched into it, like, the hashtag was perfectly appropriate for a business. But when I looked at it, it was used by law enforcement looking for fugitives. So, and her business is absolutely nothing to do with that, doesn't want associating with that. So, you just need to be aware. So her content was showing up amongst all this people looking for fugitives, and the target audience is so different. The intent of the person using it is so different. So think about your hashtags as another sort of opportunity for a keyword, and to narrow your audience, to get in front of the right kind of target audience. And so, your hashtags should be as well researched as your content.
I posted something. I can't remember whether it was to Instagram or Facebook, but it was like a few years ago. And by a few, I mean probably at least 8 or 9. And it was about animal cruelty. And it was about like these dogs that have been rescued or kittens that have been rescued or something. And this post about, how all life matters. And I'd hashtagged all lives matter.
No.
Yeah. And it was years before Black Lives Matter ever came on, but it popped up obviously on my memories, and it was like hashtag all lives matter. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, that did not age well.
Yeah.
So again, obviously you can't eliminate things like that, but just bear in mind, as Hannah says, if you're using a hashtag, are there any other connotations? Also, if you are using a hashtag, you put a capital letter at the start of every word. It helps screen readers and people with disabilities to access the internet. So make sure you do that. But also, it just makes you see whether or not you are creating a rude word out of your words that you've squashed together, like Sue's album party.
Sue's album party, the old classics are the best. Yeah, which obviously when it was a hashtag, it translated as Sue anal bum party. It was Susan's album party. Yeah,
that's it. Susan's album party.
Sue's anal bum party, which is just genius. I mean, you'd kill for that exposure, wouldn't you? Like, they were still talking about Susan Boyle's anal bum party. It's amazing.
I think it's not quite the exposure she wanted, but you're right. So there we go. So moving on from Sue's bum. Top tips for Instagram. Number 1, set it up properly and optimize your bio. Number 2, identify your brand and then be consistent with it. Number 3, use multimedia and use reels and use stories. The days of Instagram just being about static images are over. Number 4, use your hashtags and use them wisely. And finally, number 5, focus on engagement rather than information. What do we mean by this one, Hannah?
So, I mean, the point of social media is to get people to take an action and to either click on something, come to your website, buy something, like and share, and tell somebody about. So when you're creating content, don't just think like, oh, this is a pretty picture of me, wearing this lipstick. Make sure that there's a point to it. So if you're selling the lipstick, you want people to know where they can buy the lipstick. So you might want to include, say link in bio, or you can put the link in the first comment to your actual product page. You might have a call to action. You might have a special offer for services. You might have a kind of a testimonial or a call to action on it, like get in touch with us here, or come and read this bit of information, or you actually want people to take action on it. Sometimes it's not necessarily that you actually want them to come to a page. Sometimes you want them just to engage with it. So give them a reason to engage it. Not many people are going to like informational posts, but if you ask a question, or you ask a poll, or you ask for input, people will engage with it and share it and comment and stuff. And that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite often people will say, like, "Oh, I don't get any engagement on my post." Again, I was looking at this one I was doing a bit of an audit for a couple of weeks ago, and they were just saying, "We make envelopes, we make invitations, we can print on thick card," and then they were saying nobody's engaging with our posts. It's like, well, you're just shouting stuff at them essentially.
Yeah.
You're not asking them any questions, you're not asking for any engagement, you're just trying to use that as your sales platform. So we do this. It's like you wouldn't just stand in the corner of the room going, "I'm great, I can do this, over here, come and talk to me." No one's going to come and talk to you. So you've got to ask questions. Did you know that we do envelopes? What sort of envelopes do you like? Or what color envelopes should we design next? Or ask a question, get people talking and engagement. They're the holy grail of social media marketing on any platform. So you want people to be commenting more than anything else. So, but if you haven't asked them a question, they've not got anything to comment. So always try and include a question, include a call to action. What do you want somebody to do? What do you want out of it? It is not your personal sales tool. It is not. Nobody goes on social media to be sold to. So how are you going to engage with those people when they are on there to look at pretty pictures and follow their favorite celebrities and all the rest of it? How are you going to get their attention and start a conversation? If you just stand there and talk about yourself, they will not come and talk to you. So think outside the box. Yeah. Okay. So we've gone a little bit over time. Time has marched on.
Time's marched on. Yeah.
Time's marched on. So sad. So sad. Right. Top 5 tips for using Instagram. Number 1, set it up properly and optimize your bio. Good images, good photo of you, link to your website. Just make sure you filled it all in. Number 2, identify your brand and then stick to it and be consistent. It's really important. And what's your USP and why should people follow you and how are you going to be different? Number 3, use multimedia and use all the tools at your disposal. It's about videos, it's about images, it's about reels, it's about stories. Mix it up, infographics even. Make it interesting and make it varied. Number 4, use your hashtags. Think about them, use them sensibly, use a wide range of them, and make sure you've double checked that they're not saying anything rude. And number 5, finally, focus on engagement rather than information. Talk to people, engage them, ask them questions, get them talking back to you. And don't forget to include a call to action of what you want them to do. What's the purpose of this post? That is it. Hannah, final thought.
Hashtags.
Hashtags. Okay, I think hashtags are quite important. I would just say, when we say this with all our social media platforms and all our training, if Instagram is not for you, don't do it. Put your effort into something else. Find the one platform that you chime with or that really works for your audience or your brand. Just because there are all these different platforms doesn't mean you have to be on all of them. So pick the one that's best for you, best for your audience, going to be most fruitful. Learn how to do that well. If that's Instagram, brilliant. If it's not, go on LinkedIn or go on Twitter or whatever. That's it. Right, we are back in a couple of weeks. Nobody knows what we're back with. The sun is shining and we're all going to go and play outside in the garden.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Time to wave, Hannah.